Hello guys, welcome. In this tutorial we'll see add, update, delete operation using Angular 2, and these all operation will be a client side operation. And in this tutorial we'll also see how to declare a variable in TypeScript, how to use interface, what is ng model, how to use it, what are forms module, how to initialize it, how to use it, the click event, how to bind the click event in Angular, and how to use ng for loop in Angular. Okay, let's move forward. So before starting this tutorial, I wish you have seen part 1 and part 5. In part 1 we have seen how to create an Angular project using approach 1 and approach 2. So part 1 is necessary. In part 5 we have seen the arrangement of project, how the components are arranged in different project. So let's move further. Steps. So guys, these are the steps that are needed to be followed. First of all, let's create interface. So guys, as you can see that the module and the views are in different folder. So this is shown in part 5, arrangement of the project. So let's move to our home component. Now as it is written, the first step is to create an interface. So we'll create an interface. We'll declare the variables in interface. So the interface has been created, and now the next step is to declare the variables. Okay, variables are to be declared here. Student will be of type student record, and we will declare a new variable student list, which will be a list. So in TypeScript, this is the way you declare an array. We'll format it. Okay. The variables are declared and write init function. So here we'll include an init function. We'll write an init function. And what we will do is we'll just declare a name here as string, and we'll include this. We'll cut paste, and this dot name is equal to add, update, delete operation. And now let's write the constructor. Okay, and in constructor we'll just call the init function. Okay, so here you can see cannot find init, so you need to write this way, this dot init, and now it's fine. Actually this is a good approach. You can write all this initialization directly in the constructor, but it is better that you write an init function and then call it through the constructor. So right now we'll just see whether we are getting this message or not, because we have assigned this variable name in this expression in the template. So let us start the command prompt. As you can see that we need to go to the root folder, so I'll just type cd dot. Now I'm in the root folder. Let's start the project. npm space start. And this is it. So guys, you can see that we have got the message, hello, add, update, delete operation. So it is written here. I'll just remove this hello. One thing to do here is we have not initialized this record. This student variable is of type student record. So let us initialize it. This dot student equal to
name, room, comma, surname, then address, then marks. Okay, so we have initialized the variable student.
Let's move to next step. The next step is to include forms module. Fine. So to do this, you will need to go in abstract app module, and then here import forms module. You can copy this same thing here, but instead of code, write forms. And as you know that whenever we include any module, you need to import, and so paste it here. So we have included forms module. Now let's go back in our home component. So the next step is write HTML. We have included the forms module. Now let's write the HTML for it. I'll just give here a line break, simple line HR, and then we'll press enter. If you see there are some red marks, so if you have to continue writing a string, you need to give this mark so that it will take as a continuous string. Okay, fine. Let's implement our inputs. We'll start by table, enter, then a row, tr, and then will be our two columns, td, it says name, and in other column which will have input. Close the input. Here you will have to give a name, and the word in the name should be same as that of this name. And the other important part is implementing ng module, as it has two-way binding. Ng model is equal to name. Again, the word to be specified should be same, name, which is here. Okay, fine, we have done this. Now let's see in the browser if we are getting the proper output. You can see name and its component, its input. So let's implement all inputs for these three elements. So we'll just copy and paste it 3 times. Fine. Now we have done for name. Let us copy and paste for surname. Surname will be, this is label, this is name, and ng model. Similarly we will do for address. Sorry, copy, and we'll paste it here. This is label, name, and ng model. It goes again to marks. This is label that we'll see. This is name and ng model. Now guys, ng model has two-way binding, so that is the reason why we have included a forms module. ng model is only available in the forms module, so it is very necessary to include a forms module if you have to use ng model. Okay, now let us see. We have implemented inputs for all these elements. Now let us see in the browser. So guys, we have got the input here. Okay, and now let's implement save. So I just write here a button which says save, and we'll bind here a click event which says save record. Copy this save record in your class, export class home component, paste it here, and we'll write a function for it. So for a time we'll just log the result, console.log, and this dot student is our object. You see it's coming down. This dot student semicolon. I will format it. Now let's look in the browser whether is it working or not. We'll open the debug console application and we'll just give any kind of input here and we should not get any error. So guys, you can see here that we have got these objects but it is not binded actually. So let's see what's the problem. Okay guys, you see here is the object which says student.name student.surname. Okay, let's copy student and place in front of it in ng module. Student.name student.surname student.address student.marks and that's it. So let's go to browser again. It will get refreshed automatically. So I'll just give any kind of input and click on save. Now if you see guys, here is all the output available. Okay, so it is very necessary whenever you write an object, include the object name dot your element, object name dot element. So student.name student.surname, we have to specify it in ng model. Okay, now let's create a table where all the entries which are done from this input should be reflected here. So we'll just give a line here and then we'll create a table again. So here is the header. It specifies th record number, then the other th which specifies name, th which specifies surname, th specifies address, and one more th which gives address marks. Okay, now we will also add two more columns for edit button and for delete button. Okay, so header is written. Let's see it in the browser. So here we have got the header. Now let's implement the row. Here. Now what we need to do is we will have to implement for loop for this object. So student list is the list array and here star ng for equal to in bracket item for this one student list. Okay, and as we have written record number, so we also need to get the index. This syntax is let item for student list, let I equal to index. We'll move further. Now this says we have to write this in expressions. So this will give the record number, then we want name. Again we will have to type this in the expression, but here it's from we are applying for loop, so it should be item dot name, and then we'll just copy this and paste it here. Then here is the surname. So all the elements that you type here should be same to this name, surname, address, marks. Okay, then again I'll paste. After surname it's address, and after address it's marks. Okay, now as you can see there are two additional column added for add and delete button. So I'll just add the button. Which says edit, and we will bind a click event here in circular bracket. click which says edit record. And guys, we have initialized the index here. Let I is equal to index, so it is very necessary to pass the index so as to edit the record. And then we'll copy the same td which says delete, and similarly we'll change here delete. So we have done. ng-for is implemented. Let's see in browser if everything is okay or something has gone wrong. So yes, something is wrong. ng-for, okay, something is wrong. What is this? Okay, so it's not for, it's off. Let item off. So guys, here is it. We are getting the output, and now we will add these record into this table. In save record, what you need to do is this dot student list dot push in bracket this dot student and then semicolon. So let's see. I'll just give some input, save. As you can see, we have got our input, and if we give other input, now you see guys, it is changing. So what we need to do, as soon as we click save, this should become blank. That means as soon as we click this save, this object should get blank. That means it will remove its binding. And guys, see, we have already written this init function which makes that particular object blank. So let us call the init function this dot init, and I will press F5. Okay, we just give certain random input and which click saves, and it is done. So you can see that the inputs are blank now. If I give another input, click on save, another input, click on save. Fine. Now it's time to implement the edit. So we have already binded an event to edit record. We'll just copy this edit record name, and after save we'll write this edit record I of type any. So guys, now what we need to do is, why we are passing I? Because this is a list of student. So we need to pass the I which record to edit. Fine. So what we need to do is this dot student is equal to, okay, sorry, this dot student is equal to this dot student list of I. So this is the right way. Now let's have a look, guys. Suppose I'll enter some input. I'll click save, and I have to edit this one record, the record number 1. I'll click on edit, and as you can see that all the inputs that were given to record 1 are here. So I'll just edit this whatever I want, and as you can see, the changes are reflected here in the model. So on clicking save, it is already updated, so we don't have to save it again, because if we push it, it will be appended as the new record. So changes are already done in the model. Now let's clear it. Now guys, when we click on save, for edit we don't have to push the record, because if we push this, this will be added as a new record. If you want to see, let's click save. See, it is added as a next record. In the Angular, as soon as you click on edit, this record is binded to this object. So when you do change in this object at this particular ith index, the record is changed automatically. So you don't have to push it again. So we need a certain kind of indicator that not to push again. So what we'll do is we'll declare here a variable index which has any type, and in this in init function we will initialize it to is equal to 0. So when we will edit it, we will initialize it to 1. So 1 means it is in edit mode and 0 means it is normal. Okay, and let's move towards save record. If you have to edit, the object is already binded to student, so whenever we make a change in student, there will be changes reflected in that particular index of that particular list. So we don't have to again push the object, and this we are doing here. We'll just give if loop, if this dot index is equal to 0. If it is 0, then only we'll do this. And else, if it is not 0, then we have to make it 0 again, because guys, now if you see here, if it is not 0, it means that it is in edit mode and we don't have to push it again, but we have to make the index 0. So we have done here, so that we will come to know that the object here is modified successfully. So let's do it. I'll add few record. Now I have to edit this one. Okay, now you see, as I make changes, the changes are already done here in the list. So when I click on save, I don't have to push it again, but instead only make index 0. So save. You can see previously it was appended, but now here we are not pushing it, we are just saving it because changes are already reflected in model. Now guys, edit operation is done. Let's move towards delete operation. If you have a look here, we have already binded a event, click event to delete. So I'll just copy this delete keyword, and after edit, let's paste here delete. Okay, we have to also specify type, and the type is any. So this is very easy actually. This dot student list dot splice and specify I, and we have to remove only one component from ith index, so 1. Let's move whether this operation is done or not. I'll add some records, save. Now I have to delete this one, SDC. I click on delete, guys, it is deleted. Again delete, it is deleted. And if again I have to add any record, I can add successfully. So guys, we have implemented add, update, delete operation in the client side. We are not saving it in database. So you must have seen that whenever I load the browser, there is no data in the list. So I have to add it again because this is completely a client side operation. And in this tutorial, we have seen the implementation of ng module. For ng module, forms module is required. If you don't include forms module, ng module will not work at all. And we have seen for loop. So this is the syntax of the for loop, ng for let item in student list. And this is the way you get index. So when you write this set expression, make sure that you give a semicolon. And you have also seen how to write a constructor, how to declare variables, and how to write interface. So guys, that's it for today's video. Please do not forget to subscribe by pressing the red button down there. Keep studying, keep enjoying. Thank you.